Keir Starmer's big moment yesterday in Liverpool, Ben. Now, he said in his conference speech that Nigel Farage is a, quote, snake oil merchant and someone who does not believe in Britain. Is he right?
Well, I think there's two set. I mean, there were two of many insults and barbs that were hurled in his direction. I think, I mean, the one thing you can take from Starmer's speech is that he's not worried about Kemi Badenoch and the Tories.
Absolutely not. One mention of the Conservatives.
I think it was one mention. He's entirely focused on reform and Farage. I mean, I think there's two separate things there. Is he a snake oil salesman? I think his critics could fairly describe him as that. You know, that's someone who's kind of seen as quite slippery and will say what people want to hear.
Crook, a scumbag.
I don't think
I
don't think that's the same thing. But it's
a liar.
Is he? I don't think he's a liar. I don't think he's a crook. I think you could describe him as a snake oil salesman if you were sort of taking a critical view of him. Does he? I think his exact term was he's an enemy of British renewal, which I'm not even sure what that means. I don't agree. I don't think Nigel Farage or reform is against the renewal of Britain.
I think the point the PM was trying to make was that you never hear Nigel Farage say anything positive about Britain. All he does is say, "Oh, there's a lot of bad things about the place."
Well, there are a lot of bad things, and a lot of them are due to Keir Starmer and the kind of disastrous, absolutely catastrophic start to government that he's made. And you know, if Farage is an enemy of the people or whatever, it's because Starmer's made him one. Reform weren't anywhere at this time last year, or in the general election. They were not anywhere, but they weren't on course to become the next government.
I mean, Starmer, though, I thought it was a great speech. Barnstormer. Thought he had the hall behind him. I think a lot of people in the country would have looked at that speech and thought, you know what, Labour's done better than we maybe thought. Whether or not he's the right man to lead Labour in the next election remains to be seen. We know we've got Burnham still waiting in the wings, but he was absolutely spot on his attacks on Farage. You can't allow a guy like Farage, who is, in my view, just a fascist, can't allow him just to ride roughshod over the sort of the things that keep this country together. You know, the despite what Tories believe, you know, most working class people do believe in decent values and reaching out to other people in other parts of the world and helping those who are fleeing oppression. And Farage just encourages people to take a hateful, racist view on these matters. So I was delighted to see Starmer take the fight to Farage, and he's right to call. I mean, today these boats that are coming over the channel, he's calling them Farage's boats. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
They are Farage's boats.
Why?
The reason we're faced with this absolute disaster is that we left the EU and that we're no longer a part of a European-wide policy to take care of the asylum issue. So he's absolutely right to call them Farage's boats. If there's one man in Britain who's responsible for these boats, one man, it's Farage.